I'm Gerry. I'm 72, and I'm your first ever Golden Bachelor. What I hope is that I can look at one of those women and know that I've found the right person.
I want to call last night's episode, Gerry is the sweetest, messiest bachelor we've ever had.
I agree. Lori, we got to get some light on you.
Oh, holy crap. He is so sweet and so messy, you guys. I mean, beyond. Right? I can't hear Brittany. We're having technical difficulties.
We're having just
Stand
a
by
moment.
for love.
Stand by. Lori,
Stand by for love.
Lori, fix your little microphone.
And we had, we had two hoojus. I had to explain that to my mom.
And explain it to everybody else again.
The hooju, we had 2 for 2. We hadn't had one on the Golden Bachelor. A hooju is a hugging jump, which is standard protocol on every season of The Bachelor and Bachelorette. And it's where usually it doesn't happen till a hometown date, but it's when the woman goes hurtling and jumps and then is able to artfully wrap her legs around her guy's waist.
When's the last time either of you guys have even done that? Brittany, is your mic not working?
Yeah. I fear I would knock Casey over, if not injure both of us.
Oh, 100%, Lori. 100%. And that shows you how small these women are.
Yeah, and he's tall, though. He's got a nice physique, old messy, sweet Gerry. But we had both Leslie and Teresa officially completed the hooju. I called it I called it a jumping hug. I called it something else.
Yeah, I don't like hooju because
it's hugging jump. That's what is that is. I went to Bachelor Nation Twitter, and that is the term.
If you're young.
Yeah.
Hooju.
Well, but those ladies did it. Mm-hmm. Anyway, messy, sweet Gerry, you guys. Okay, Brittany, what was your assessment of that last night episode? Shocked?
She can't hear us.
She can't. All right.
Okay. So
she's mimicking with her eyebrows.
Yeah, Leah and Mike, if you guys need Brittany's contact information, I have it. You're good. You guys are working on it. So what
did you think of that episode? Okay. I mean, it's 1 hour, so too short.
Right, way too short. Well, it started out with, I just thought it was kind of funny. Gerry, just sitting down. Tonight is the night, that's these dates mean everything.
I might get lucky with 2 women, basically.
It's so important, and we're going to be doing this. And, he just went on and on talking about how,
intimacy.
It's a big week.
Yeah.
It's the biggest week. The doors are going to be closed and there's going to be some physical intimacy. Yeah, it's going to happen.
He's sweet and messy at the same time. And the fact that Leslie and Gerry's, I felt good for Leslie in that she got to do a high adrenaline sport, rappel down a waterfall. But I did not care for the fact that the producers put her in the water and on the slippery rock side, Casey would have he would have said, I'll go down on that side. You go down on the other side.
But I don't even know that he knew that when they started.
Maybe he didn't, but that was all kinds of wrong on the part of the producers, making her go down on the wet side. I was afraid for her a couple times.
I actually was too. I thought it was interesting that Leslie is chosen to do the really active one.
Well,
and then Teresa's chosen to do the horseback riding. All right, I think Brittany, are you here?
Am I working?
Oh my gosh!
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay.
Stress of communicating from Eden Prairie.
Okay, but I'm telling you guys, I couldn't agree with everything you're saying more. I wrote down about 5 different times. Let's not jump on Gerry. I think it's inappropriate.
I do too.
I feel like it's just like the person, I have the VA insurance, and I don't know what Gerry has. They're in Costa Rica.
Yeah.
I was worried for him.
Well, also, that's the producers just saying run and jump, and maybe they've been fans of The Bachelor, and they're like, somebody said, you got to try it. I personally was impressed that Gerry was able to handle a hugging jump.
Right. I'd be like, give me a chair, and then she can jump on my lap, but I'm not going to stand there. Did we know he had a giant lion tat on his arm?
Yes, we knew that when he took the hot tub with Leslie after ATV.
You're right.
It was after Leslie and the ATV and the hot tub appearing in the field. We saw the big line. It was his midlife crisis tattoo. He told us.
Yeah. Now I remember. I was shooketh. I wrote that down. I don't know what happened to me.
Yeah.
So let's start with Leslie.
Yeah.
So their date. So they go and rappel. And Lori, I agree with you. The producers put her in the most dangerous side. I've rappelled down the side of the Hyatt downtown Minneapolis here.
She's
It's
in
scary.
water, and it's
And
rock,
to have that-
and it's slippery. I was very impressed with her athleticism.
Same.
I think we all agree with
Yeah.
that.
She was pretty much being waterboarded on TV. That's what I saw. I was like, what is happening?
I know. Okay, so then they go, and he has these big questions for her, like, why haven't you ever asked me anything deep?
Yeah.
And then she starts out the first question, well,
When's the last time you had sex? That was a great deflection.
It was
Great
so good.
to turn it.
Yeah.
And, he's vague, and she says a year. And, I mean, she made people cry with her every year on her birthday. I vow I'm going to meet somebody. And it's been Groundhog Day. I've been 20 years of being single. And then he tells her, I think you're the one. And there's no one else I try and figure out with. And I want you to be my morning coffee. And the last thing I see at night, I'm like, Gerry, you're being so messy.
So the messiest boots in the history of messy is Gerry.
Gerry, who would have thought that almost every time he opened his mouth, and I know the producers can cut this or whatever, but I am going to make a prediction. This is going to be the messiest, most heartbreaking Bachelor finale we've ever seen. Finally, if Chris Harrison was around and he could make that promise, it would come true, because he basically did tell both women that he loved them and that they were the one.
The I gotcha, when he said I gotcha, I was like, that for some reason felt like more commitment than I have in my own marriage. Like, it was like, what are you saying right now?
Yeah. He's beyond sweet, and he's
Well, he just said they're two different types of women.
yes,
really.
and Teresa does have a
warm, safe,
but
heart.
and kind of has a frailty, but of steel, as we find out when he asks her what she does for a living and how because she still works and everything.
Yeah.
I mean, pretty brilliant on the part of the Bachelor producers to get Gerry to sit in an homage to the Cialis ad, sitting in one of two bathtubs overlooking the Costa Rican jungle, which was the Cialis ad.
Yeah.
The couple in the bathtub
And
overlooking a deck, and Cialis was
is for ED.
erectile dysfunction, but it was called Le Weekender because you can take a Cialis and go away for the weekend and never take another pill.
Well, let's go back.
Yeah,
So,
no.
That was brilliant on the part of the producers.
Beautiful imagery. We also do have to note that they kept showing a sloth this whole time with imagery, which I felt was a little aggressive about what they assume his sex life is like.
Yeah, but Leslie, the repartee about the thermostat and the 69, that was so adorable. But I mean, he really, like, I was like, are we going to have the Bachelor? Like, is he going to call the front desk and send Teresa home? He was so solidly telling Leslie, you're my woman.
Well, and I think the big thing that came up, because we haven't heard anyone talk about it, is what happens if we do go out after this month? Where are we going to live? What's that going to look like? I mean, asking some realistic questions like, what happens? And Leslie said, I'm really not leaving Minneapolis, but I'm open to,
By Midwestern. That was cute.
Yeah, instead of bi-coastal, by Midwestern, because he lives in Indiana and she lives here in Minneapolis. And I thought, at least they're talking about something that I thought is a realistic conversation that you would have when you are on this show.
Well, and you don't, and you're in the fourth week of filming the last and final
I
week
was
of
kind of like,
filming.
okay, ready to do it. But I do think you know that they made love that night. You know that happened. I thought it was sweet. I thought he was all in with Leslie.
Yeah.
And then he was all in on no bad pun intended.
We're going to get to that.
But I mean, that was blowing everyone's mind.
Can we acknowledge too? So, like, when they're in their 20s and you have 2 nights in a row of sex is one thing, but 2 nights in a row of staying up late. How can you do that, Gerry? I don't know how they're doing that. Like, let them have a break in between. That's exhausting.
When he showed up and said, I'm doing this again this day, I have to get my head in the game.
I couldn't believe it. That is really crappy because, on regular Bachelors,
they get a break.
Oh, Are you kidding? They're there for like a week and
Yeah.
they spread out the dates. They have like a couple days to themselves before they have their next hometown date. They really accelerated the emotional.
And I think it might have been a timing thing because the actors' strike was going on. They needed to get some programming out. I think they rushed this completely. They did it in a month. It was such a rush job. We're going to come back and talk about Teresa's date and then give predictions. I mean, we'll see which way it goes. This is Lori and Julia on My Talk. Well, people are watching this. I just want to let you know that the numbers are in.
Yeah.
And the episode last week was their strongest episode of The Golden Bachelor yet with 5.58 million viewers. And then with the streaming numbers added in, it equaled out to 7.37 million viewers.
Right.
They're getting viewers with this. Let's talk Leslie.
Or Teresa.
Or
Well,
Teresa.
Go
Wrap
back
up
to Leslie for 1 second.
Okay.
I want to get your guys' take on when she described him as a soft, comfortable old shoe.
That didn't bother me. I think she meant that he felt like home. That didn't bother me at all. Did it bother you, Brittany?
It didn't bug me, but I will say this. She broke him off. Like, I think that he might have been a little addicted to what she was throwing off that night. Like, she's wilder than him by a lot. And I think you can tell. And I think that's going to be the big controversy next week is she going to stick around like I feel like Teresa would? And I think
For sure. Teresa's basically, I'll quit my job for you.
Yeah.
You want to just segue to
Right.
Teresa? I mean, I kind of cringed about that one.
Well, Leslie did set parameters around the relationship. Like, I'm still going to have Minneapolis and St. Paul, but I'm willing to talk about how this would work with you.
Yeah, and I think it's also scary because, like, this is, like you said, 4 weeks, and she's the type that's not shown that she can get bored easily. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I find that that's a personality trait I have sometimes.
Yeah.
And so it's like, I think they're rightfully, he should be worried that what is this? Are we sure kind of thing.
All right.
Right.
So now we go to the second date where he's absolutely exhausted, stayed up till 2 a.m., just had sex for the first time, and we don't know how long with another person.
Yeah.
And then he's walking to go visit Teresa and is like, oh, I'm so tired. I got to get
and
into
she
this.
did the hooju. She did the hugging jump, and he was able to keep standing. Of course, she weighs nothing.
She weighs nothing.
Yeah, that's
She weighs
true.
nothing. Okay, so what do you guys think? So Teresa, it felt like he kept saying, I got to figure out how to get my head in this. He had just told Leslie, I got you. I think you're for me.
Right.
And now he's switching gears and riding horses with Teresa.
And they got cutaways of him saying stuff, but he is, first of all, the shadiness of the Bachelor putting them on horseback when they just got rid of Faith, the horse lover.
Yeah, that's true.
extraordinaire. And then that poor Teresa doesn't realize that you can't ride a horse in shorts.
Oh, good point. I didn't
yeah, I saw
realize
that. I saw
that.
I was going crazy thinking of the chafing of her thighs and if she was going to be wrestling with Gerry, what that was going to do. But she walked out in her PJs the next morning without even any shoes. I've never seen that kind of walk of shame on The Bachelor before.
Okay,
Oh.
first of all, the horseback riding lasted we saw the horses and she was on one.
Yeah,
But they went through a river.
Yeah.
They went through a stream. They went through a little bit of jungle.
Yeah.
They came somewhere where there happened to be a bench that they might have brought in the middle of the rainforest.
Oh, look, there's a bench here. Okay, so then they go to dinner.
And it looked like the exact same spot as the other place
That's
that
what
he had with Leslie. Like they didn't even change.
It was the same spot. Again, you guys, this was an accelerated timeline to film this.
But I know someone who stayed at this resort, and it is big and beautiful.
They better have at least switched rooms because, like,
they did. That room looked different.
Okay, good. Because I was
That
like,
room looked different.
I was worried that they had filmed it from different angles and it wasn't a
No.
different room.
Leslie got a better room.
Okay, good. Well,
Yeah.
at least she got something better because
Yeah.
second day Gerry, I don't feel like
Yeah.
was.
Well,
Okay.
Cialis, if he took Cialis.
That's
You
true.
guys,
$48.
I'm giving older people a bad rap here.
I'm not even saying older people. I'm saying I'm not throwing anyone under the bus, but my aged people. Do I want to have sex 2 nights in a row? Like,
with two different people when
No.
you're having these relations. Okay, so she's telling him, I think he's asking, Leslie, tell me about yourself again. These people are supposed to get engaged in a day.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, I'm a securities person. I just started trading a little bit and it turned out to be a bigger thing. And
He was very impressed with that.
I think he was.
Yeah, I did write down that Gerry and I still have no idea what she does. After
No,
her
I
long,
know.
like
yeah,
her,
yeah, she does.
She's financial planning. She's
a stockbroker.
yeah,
Yeah.
I do
Gives
have to
people
s-
advice.
She's not a good storyteller, is all I'm
No,
going to say.
terrible. Very meandering, very boring.
Thank you. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
But
and
she really looks at him with so much adoration that I think he's got to be kind of intoxicated with that. I feel like the Bachelor producers are leaning so hard heavily editing in Leslie's favor
Yeah.
that it makes me think it's not Leslie.
Right.
Because the edit is so hard. And it is going to be one of the messiest finales because he is sweet, but he's so messy, over promising in his wonderful way he has of talking. He's really backed himself into a corner.
yeah.
We wake up the next morning after these two. Has his evening with Teresa, and we hear we've come a long way in 24 hours. You have opened up my eyes, and I feel like today is the first day of the rest of my life.
Yes. I mean, he says that to her, and she's in no shoes. She's in like a cami bottomed.
A short.
A short. I mean, we could see her little fanny hanging out,
Yeah.
and I wasn't opposed to it or anything, or the fact she didn't have shoes. But they do not normally have the bachelor or bachelorettes leave in this sort of, miss.
They were out of time. They were out of time. Get
Wait,
out of here.
I-
Gerry.
Not even a robe. Leslie at least got a damn
She didn't
robe.
have a robe. She didn't have a robe.
He ushered her out like on the service road.
It was-
I know how I feel, he said.
Mm-hmm.
I know how I feel.
Like the outfit. Okay, first off, Teresa mates for life. So whatever happens in this,
Yeah.
I think we're gonna have a praying mantis situation if he doesn't pick her because
Yeah.
she made it very clear I mate for life.
Yeah.
Rest in peace, her first husband. And then her outfit. At first, I was like, man, those are cute pajamas. But it straight up just looked like underwear. Like that is an outfit I let my dog in, and I still
Yes.
hide or let my dog out and like
Yes.
hide behind my door.
Yes.
Like I thought it was cute, but like,
No.
what are you doing on the street?
We've never seen a bachelorette be walked out like that.
Yeah.
Usually the bachelor leaves. I mean, Leslie got to stay in the villa.
Yeah.
And Gerry left. I don't know. I just couldn't believe it. And then they panned down and she was barefoot. And I thought, oh, the shame.
Again, there wasn't enough time. They were like, time. Let's wrap. We gotta do it.
I love
It's-
that.
But literally, though, he said, I think I've made my decision. I know.
But we don't know when he said that. You
Yeah.
didn't
It's
see,
edited, right.
that's the only thing about that. But I mean, these producers are so unseriously serious. We hope they never change because they are just unbelievable. We don't know what is going on.
All right, so let's we've got a few minutes left.
Okay.
Let's wrap it up. All right, Lori, you go first. You tell us who you think is going to get it.
Okay.
The final rose. We're talking about
Okay.
The Bachelor.
All right. Well, one, Gerry is definitely going on Dancing with the Stars. Expect that. He will be on Dancing with the Stars, you guys. No, he's going to be.
Charity, the last Bachelor, was just on
He's
it.
going to be, okay. It's going to be a very, very messy and controversial final because of the serious way they edited it. And I think his probationary engagement, because he told the Hollywood Reporter he was a probationary engagement, I don't know if he was in trouble for that, is with Teresa.
All right, that's your take.
Yeah.
All right, Brittany, what's your take?
All right. I also have to mention, I think it's wild that they're talking about marriage because it seems weirder when they are because it's like I feel like it's almost like little kiddish the way they're saying it. Like we're
Yeah.
gonna
Well,
be
don't you
married.
think they're being pushed?
They are.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Where I'm like, you guys, come on. Like when
Yeah.
20-year-olds say it, it's like, oh, whatever, first marriage. But now I'm like, you guys aren't getting married at the end of
Yeah.
this. Come on. Okay. By pure, like I have to think about how it's going to benefit me. I'm going to go Leslie because I want to run into her and I want her to win. And so I want to be Team Leslie because I'm manifesting getting her on the show. I also
Wait, is this a way of answering and picking both?
No,
Okay.
but kind of. But actually, yes.
Yeah, no, can't do that.
Okay,
no.
I'm picking Leslie
All right,
because
pick Leslie.
I picked her from the beginning. Leslie, I think that they are used to us being used to the edit and switch. I think I think the things that she did in that room, I would like to also know how to do because I think that she has Gerry in her palm of her hand.
I got you. So that's what you're picking.
Leslie.
Okay. Me, all I'm going to say is we know that the Bachelor Nation likes this more senior bachelor.
Yeah.
Because we saw ads last night running during the show requesting people to sign up to try out to be on the next Bachelorette.
Did they say Golden Bachelor?
They said Golden Bachelor.
Golden Bachelor. So, because I think a Golden Bachelorette is going to be from this season.
Yes, and they said Golden Bachelor. So they're seeking more men to be in the pool, and they're going to do this again. We already know in January, the next one's going back to the old formula of younger people. Two, I hate this. I just don't know, but I think he's going to pick Teresa. And I think Teresa feels like she would do anything for him. She would move for him.
Yeah.
She feels he doesn't have to really take care of her financially. I'm not saying that Leslie does, but we haven't had that conversation yet on television.
Yeah.
And I feel like she just feels like a safer choice for him after what he went through. Because they both kind of commiserate, just said that we're both.
They both lost people they deeply loved.
Yeah.
That they were in relationships their whole life.
Yeah.
So I felt like there's a connection there. So I feel for me, it's going to be Teresa. So you, Brittany's Leslie, you're Teresa, and I'm Teresa.
And a very messy finale.
And well, of course, and he already said it yesterday. He came out and said, or was it 2 days ago? I don't even know, that he already has conflicted feelings because he had relationships with 2 women, and that's not who he is.
I also want to go on the record saying that older men are the most dramatic people in the world. He is the drama from this guy. This is a close second to when my wife died. Okay, Gerry,
take it down.
Like,
I know it. That's like not even nice to your wife.
No, like 14-year-old girls get a bad rap, but I believe that 70-plus-year-old men are the most dramatic humans. And I know. I work with a lot of 70-plus-year-old men. So, yeah.
Not saying who.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that is a very true statement.
And also, don't forget that in a way, Gerry is a dating toddler. I know he's had a little bit in his town or wherever he lived, a little bit of dating, but he was with his wife since high school.
Yeah.
And she's only, so he was like from high school all the way to his like late 60s or mid 60s. So anyway, he's just not that experienced with women. So he shows that by being so completely sweet and messy all at the same time. And then he's 72 years old and he's eloquent.
Yeah.
Yes,
he's kind of got a very...
I'm saying
he's been a wonderful bachelor.
He's been perfect for this role, for the first Golden Bachelor. We are not going to be here next week because it's going to be Thanksgiving and the Bachelor.
The show isn't on.
Right, and then I believe it's going to be a 2-hour
We're finally getting 2
finale.
hours.
So lots of tears, lots of drama, and we'll see what happened. Thanks for hanging out with us on our Golden Bachelor recap.